Hello, it is I, Aaron here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm a buyer, trader, collector, grader, vendor. Buy, sell, trade, collect, grade, vend. Welcome back. Today was a good day. Let's talk about it. First things first. If you've not already, liked and commented on the video that's down below. We have another 151 booster bundle giveaway. Thanks for the support. All you gotta do is like, say something nice or mean, something genuine, and I'll pull someone, and that'll be it. That's all we got. So that's all you gotta do to enter. Thanks again for the support. Today's video, we're gonna talk about why I stopped buying sealed. And I will caveat this in many different ways as you talk about the Pokemon market. But I'll give you some context. I used to buy sealed every release since the dawn of, it's a little dramatic, since Vivid Voltage. Every set sealed, whether it's ETBs, booster boxes, ETBs and booster boxes, ETBs or booster boxes, or just, whatever. It had been that way for a long time. There are only a few sets that I actually skipped out on. Astral Radiance I skipped out on because I thought the set was kind of meh. Lost Origin I actually skipped out on at the initial release because I wasn't really a Tina fan. And I think that was really it. Most of the other sets I purchased, I ripped, and I kept because, I'm a hoarder, kind of invested, just really liked having a lot of this stuff. So call it investing, call it not, whatever it is, but I used to buy every single set under the moon. Then Crown Zenith came out. So if you went around when Crown Zenith came out, Crown Zenith is a great set, but many people will tell you it is an amazing set and one of the best sets. Now, when it first came out, it was still a great set, but the amount of buzz and hype that it got is nothing compared to where it is, over the last 6 months to a year. Because I think partially because the price has gone up, and so people are really hyped about it. But Crown Zenith was printed into, if Oblivion is infinity, then it was printed to very close to it. Multiple waves. I think booster bundles came out like a year, 2 years after. I forget. It was everywhere. And it still was everywhere up until like the beginning of this year, right? Then we get into Scarlet and Violet. And Scarlet and Violet was really, it did not start off well. Many of you know, it was not the start of Scarlet and Violet was still lukewarm, but then it was shortly after that, it just kind of tanked and went down under. I think this was related to like Paldea Evolve, Paradox Rift. And around that time, I actually slowed down and stopped buying booster boxes. And part of this is I did focus a lot more on Grand Archive. Grand Archive is a anime card game made by Westerners. It's has a strong competitive community, and I focused a lot on it because one of my good friends works on the game, and I also was a collector competitor. In Grand Archive, you could collect, if you collected the game, you could compete in their collectors tournaments, which essentially were just like whale offs, like whale competitions. And, I'll try to explain it best I can. In each of the competitions, you're supposed to compile a certain set of cards to get the optimal amount of points. And if you get the optimal amount of points, then you place in the different categories. And some of the categories have different themes. And so anyway, I focused a lot more Grand Archives because conveniently Pokemon had been slowing down and it just wasn't as exciting. And the market was, it still sold really, really well, but because box prices were down, packs were down, and all that jazz, I just didn't have enough. I didn't have it in me to focus on Pokemon and Grand Archive. So that's primarily why I stopped buying sealed at that time. Is I just couldn't keep up, and I lost a lot of interest. It wasn't until after 151 came out, I would say, that I started picking up again. Then also last year, I sold out of my Grand Archive position because I just couldn't I couldn't manage both games. Actually, I still have a ton of cards. I gotta get rid of them now. Anyway, so that's kind of like the journey of me so far with sealed, buying sealed, hoarding it, investing in it, opening it. And I would say the start of last year is when I started. Start of last year? Yeah. Well, I guess the fall before that's when FC1 came out. The start of last year is when I really started to pick up buying sealed again. And I was blessed because, as you know, come November of last year, when Surging Sparks came out, I think it was end of October, early November, that's when the market has changed. Surging Sparks was widely available for pre-order at $99 a box. I think I pre-ordered 6, 7, or 8 at that price, and immediately right out of the gate, it went to 180, 200 and above, and it stayed there since. I look at that moment as the pivotal moment for me where I recognize that this whole market's changed. And the main reason why I don't buy sealed today is because I do believe in a future. On this planet or the next, in this timeline or the next, where boxes are not $250 out of the gate for a new set. And this might not be for another generation. This might not be for multiple generations. But I just cannot get over the fact that the boxes now are so much much more expensive than they were before. And, there's a couple ways of looking at this, right? Well, it's just how the market is. And so, $250 is the new $100 box. It's probably true, right? Or you can think of it as like $250 is temporary. Maybe they're going to print more. Demand's going to subside. It's going to slow down. There's no signs of that. So that's kind of a tough position to stick to. But for me, I think the key point here for you, for all of us, is understanding what are you comfortable with. Because I have learned throughout the last few years being a seller, in particular, it doesn't matter if you spend $250 on a booster pack, set of booster packs, a booster box, like Trainer boxes, a PSA 10 copy of whatever card you like, this card or that card, it's still $250. And as someone who has accidentally been like this collector, hoarder, investor person, I've come to realize that yes, sealed generally is the easiest to park your money in. I've learned that if you really are money hungry, especially, then you shouldn't really care about what avenue you decide to spend your time and your money. Sorry, that didn't make any sense. You really shouldn't care what method or avenue you take in order to grow money. Whether that's through sealed investing, which I would argue most people who are doing it now, you haven't turned a profit. Let's be honest. You're doing what everyone else is doing. You haven't turned a profit yet. If you bought Destined Rivals, it's going up a little bit, but like, what are we talking about here? We're talking about like 10, 20%. Like there are cards that you can grade. There are cards that are graded. There are other things that you can buy and flip and get 50 to 100% margin. And so like, I think that's what I learned the most. That's what I've learned that stuck out to me the most. It shouldn't matter what you buy. It shouldn't matter what the methodology is, as long as, one, you're comfortable with it. Okay, but hear me out. You can't be comfortable. You're only comfortable if you know what you're doing. And I would push people and say, get comfortable with all the options. I think sealed investing today, there's a lot of comfort to it because everyone's doing it. But it's like a very easy thing to understand. Like you literally just buy the latest sealed thing at the cheapest price that you can, and you just sit on it. Not literally. I mean, you could. There's probably some weird world out there when someone will pay a premium because you sat on a booster box. That's not for me. But if you're part of that crowd and if you're in it and you think that's the only way, I am here to tell you the reason why I don't buy sealed is because I realize that is not the only way. And yes, it takes some more knowledge and activity, brain power, effort, but I'm infinitely more happy with how I navigate through the hobby now. Like, you ever see Doctor Strange 2, where he's like going through the little different multiverses? Like, I can weave in and out of like the current market, modern sealed, Japanese sealed, vintage, Japanese vintage, mid-era, promos, Japanese promos, Pokemon Center promos, PSA, like I've been able to maneuver in and out to find the best opportunity. And I think it's because, I would say it's definitely because I don't look at sealed investing as the thing I have to do. And, let me clarify some things first. I also rebought into Sword and Shield over the last, what has it been, like 3 months now? I bought back in Evolving Skies at 1100, 1200. I bought Fusion Strike at 500. Like, it's not that I'm avoiding sealed, but I think the idea that you have to buy it as the only way or the best way to make money, especially with ultra modern, it cannot be further from the truth. And what I would think about is, when you spend money, what's going to get you the best value for your time, energy, effort ratio? And that's only you can decide that and explain that, right? What's going to do that for you? And I like talking about sealed investors these days, and pointing at this new age group of people, because I don't think most people understand that y'all are doing the easiest thing, the lowest barrier of entry thing. And when you really stick your head into shows, when you start learning about graded cards, singles, when you start looking at promos and the current trajectory of, mid-era, vintage, all the cards that are popping up, like, you see these record sales on these different accounts and more buzz coming up, and none of it is from any set that has come out as of late. Isn't that kind of weird? And so, why do I not buy sealed as much as I used to? If I do buy it, it's really just to rip. And if I do get it for really cheap, it would have to be cheap enough, and the market price would have to be okay enough for me to decide not to keep it. To keep it. I have a case of Destined Rivals. Is it going to be the next Evolving Skies? I don't know. I ripped 1 or 2 boxes. Sucked. I got the Moltres, and it looked like someone just took a scissors and just scraped the edge of it. Terrible. But most of the sealed I get today, it's really to enjoy the hobby. Because if I feel like I don't enjoy it or find ways to enjoy it, I won't be able to I won't be able to increase the longevity of why I'm here. So why do I not buy modern sealed today? All those reasons are why. There are faster ways to grow your Poke portfolio, nerd talk. There are faster ways to get to the point where you can have a better collection, where you can buy the things that you want. And I will caveat this and talk about, I talked about this a long time ago, but one of the pieces of advice that I got from vendors and people who are big collectors is the best way to collect what you want, is to sell. And it's because when you sell, when you operate with this mindset of you want to get rid of everything, because it'll eventually get you to the point where you can obtain the things that you actually want, you start to trim the fat, you get to play within the margins, right? And you get to a point where through buying and selling, you've built up so much mass and margin that you can eventually just afford whatever you want. And I didn't understand that concept for a long time. I bought everything that I wanted outright and just sat on it. And, you know, a lot of it was fine. It was a good buy. It was amazing stuff. Mid-era Japanese, X and Y Japanese, X and Y, or Sun and Moon Japanese, like all these amazing cards that are doing well. Well, I mean, not well, but a little bit better today. But the thing that I was missing out on is like the value of actually having that capital and like rolling it over sale, and not just squatting on things. I will be honest, I have made a pretty good amount buying sealed and doing absolutely nothing. However, my circumstances throughout the years has been way different than most people. I was a hoarder. I still am a hoarder. I just sat on things because I just couldn't let them go. I didn't necessarily buy these things because I thought they were going to 5 or 10x and go to the moon. Is because I was a untamed collector who just couldn't help themselves. And I got all of it got out of hand and I had just so much stuff. And so looking back, would I have done the same thing again? I probably would have bought a ton of different cards and promos, to be honest with you. Gold Stars, PSA 10. Oh my God, this kills me. I bought an Articuno from Skyridge, PSA 10, for like $800. This is actually 6 months ago. I got so impatient because I didn't see vintage moving. I sent it to Z&G, put it for buy it now for $1,000. It didn't sell for like 1 or 2 months, and then I got impatient and lowered it to like $900. It sold immediately, and then I checked last month, maybe 2 months ago. It sold for $2,500. Anyway, looking back, that's probably what I would have done, honestly. And it feels weird to say, like, why wouldn't you buy more sealed? There's not a lot of character to sealed. There's not a lot of, like, having cases of booster boxes, there's a way different feeling than having like an amazing slab that is appreciated over time. I guess part of it is like you can't just like hold a case of booster boxes and hug it and like be happy with it and kiss it. But it's a way different feeling knowing that, for example, I got, Mewtwo V from Pokemon Go. I got that right. That has felt way different. Pikachu 020, Black Star promo, don't forget it. It's a way different feeling when you have those cards and they go up and then you sell them over booster boxes. At least for me. I mean, I might be in the minority in this, but I dread thinking about all the stuff I have to manage when I go through our storage unit and going through all these boxes and that are packed up and like I can't see them. I got to keep something sealed. It's like, okay, cool. This is a case of whatever. This is a case of Lost Origin. It's like, all right, cool. I put it to the side. Perhaps this is a warning that when you do get to the point and you hoard a bunch of stuff and a lot of it is sealed, it's not like you're going to hang out with it. It's not like it's going to be in your room or on display. It's got to be somewhere that's cold, cool, dry storage. Got to be somewhere that has zero humidity, because if there's any humidity, it will start to crinkle the cards, right? And I opened up an ETB of Temporal. I actually have a short on this. I opened up a PC ETB of Temporal, and I left a lot of the cards that were bulk inside the ETB case, ETB box, and then I put that box in the garage at our old place. It was rainy season, and a month or two later, I went to the garage, and the cards rolled. They looked like an overbent Pringle chip. They were destroyed, basically. Anyway, lesson learned. When you have that much sealed, it ends up being like a bank vault that you can't. It's hard. It's hard to manage that stuff, no matter what anyone tells you. And you got to be careful. You can't dent things. The amount of boxes I've dented, the amount of boxes I've ripped. It becomes such a chore that, for me, I can't imagine what it's like for all y'all out there with those stacked closets of, poster collections and premium collections and ETBs sitting on top of each other, and the, regular ETB and PC ETB, and you have like UPCs, and you got like binder collections, you got like the pouch collect, just like, to what end? And I think that's where I've come to realization with Sealed. It was just like this moment of like, to what end am I going to keep doing this? Would I rather buy 6 cases of, what was it? Stellar Crown, right? Which I did. One day, okay, buy 6 cases of Stellar Crown. 6 cases are like $590 plus shipping, right? So $3,600 of Stellar Crown. Boom, awesome, cool. Stellar Crown, $3,600 gets delivered. Okay, I gotta sell one when it gets to 1,000. All right, cool. $25 shipping. Got to double box it. Got to get it out of storage. Got to make sure it's not dented. Oh crap! I sent one that was a case that was dented, and the person's complaining on TCU Player. It's just like, you won't get that if you were to just buy. This feels bad to say, Rob. If you ever watch this, I'm sorry. I love you. Good friend Rob Red or Blue. He had a PSA 10. God, this is funny. Sorry, Rob. He had a PSA 10 Gold Star Mewtwo. English. He eventually sold it for like $4K. And he was trying to sell it for a while. And a while, and a while, and a while. The card recently sold for about 5 figures. I'm laughing because it's so unfortunate. But like, imagine if you put money into that card at that time. And by the way, he sold this at the beginning of the year. You're just gonna have to believe me, or you don't have to believe me, because you're gonna go through your own route, buy all the Sealed, stack it up. Your closet's gonna be overflowing. You're gonna rent a storage unit like I did. You have to pay for the storage unit, which, by the way, in the Bay Area where I live, it's $325 for a 6x10. There you go. That's the cost of holding Sealed and being a hoarder. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's just not as enjoyable, and the path forward to like growing your Pokemon collection and your net worth, Sealed doesn't have to be the way. It is a way. Maybe you live in the Midwest or in the South, or somewhere where you have a lot of space, so you don't really care. But eventually it's going to come to a point where all this stuff, all this mass that you're accumulating, you got to keep it in great condition. You got to have all the space in the world. You got to be able to make sure that it stays in good condition. And it adds up, and I feel like an old dog. I'm just tired. I just want to spend the most amount of money and get the least amount of volume in terms of like mass. Singles, graded cards works for me. Not necessarily buy the most expensive card, but it's just more compact, tight, less big things and more smaller things. That's essentially it. Not everyone gets to this point. Some people, they have beautiful galleries, they have storage for all this stuff. They can buy booster boxes and cases and bundles to the heart, to the heart explodes. It's a weird saying. Eventually, though, I think everyone does have a tipping point, and you got to decide, is it worth your time, energy, effort? And honestly, if you're new, is it worth the money? This is the tough love part of this topic. I don't think most modern investors have ever realized any dollars or traded the value that they've gained into something else. I was the same way. Just hoard and buy. Look at my Pokemon net worth on paper. Oh my God, it's up so much. And then never actually cashing out, never actually trading, never actually getting something else. Well, we all learn. Anyway, that's it from me. What a video. I had Wendy's today. Incredibly relieving meeting work-wise, and we'll get into it. I decided to give myself Wendy's, and 1,400 calories for lunch is kind of a lot. but I'm happy I did. I'm kind of on a high. That's all I got. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't liked and commented on that other video, please do. I would appreciate any support I can get. All you gotta do is like, comment, subscribe. So be it. And that's it. If you want to hear anything from me, or you have any questions, leave them down below. Welcome to all the new faces, and I appreciate all the support. And I think that's it. That's all I got for you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Peace.